Infraco are responsible for launching an innovative climate change project in sub-Saharan Africa. The Cabeolica project is based in 4 of the islands of the Cape Verde archipelago, close to the west coast of Africa. Cape Verde is made up of 10 islands, with a population of roughly 500,000 people and a GDP of $1.2 billion. The country has no significant natural resources, but has enjoyed good levels of inward investment over recent years. It is dependent on the external world for most things, including energy, a paradox given that it has some of the most reliable wind resources in the world. The country imports expensive diesel fuel to generate almost all of its electricity requirements. The Cabeolica wind farm project will relieve a substantial economic and environmental burden for the country, as well as helping in the worldwide struggle against climate change. It will substitute carbon-intensive fuels with environmentally friendly wind power to generate some 30% of Cape Verde's energy needs. Shortages of energy have become chronic in recent years as demand has outstripped supply. These shortages have resulted in blackouts, especially in the summer months when the country experiences a peak in demand. Investment in the energy sector is therefore urgent. Problems are further compounded because Cape Verde produces 92% of its drinking water from seawater using highly energy-intensive desalination plants. The project will enable the country to produce water using wind power, an environmentally and economically viable solution to the country's growing water needs. Water availability has become much more urgent in recent years. Rainfall is less reliable, and additional stress has been imposed on the country's inadequate infrastructure. The Cabeolica wind farm project is situated in the trade wind corridor of the Atlantic Ocean and has almost unsurpassed wind resources to draw upon. Average wind speeds are in excess of 10 meters per second for much of the year. The winds in Cape Verde are highly monodirectional, with a prevailing north-northeasterly direction, producing one of the best wind conditions for energy generation in the world. It is these wind conditions that make the Cabeolica wind farm a highly attractive project for the Cape Verdean Islands. The development of the project began in late 2006, when Infraco was invited to jointly develop a wind energy project with the government and local utility company Electra. Here is Dr. Antão Fortes from Electra talking about the role of Infraco in the development of the project.
Infraco com maior experiência naquilo que é as oportunidades que existem a nível internacional. De experiência, digamos, de negociações de contratos de compra e venda nesse setor, de parcerias com bancos, com outros privados que estejam interessados, de parcerias com instituições internacionais que garantem aquilo que se chama também da redução dos riscos de determinados projetos. Portanto, é sempre uma mais-valia que pretende-se capitalizar também para este importante projeto.
The government was enthusiastic in supporting Infraco in developing a private initiative in the energy sector and welcomed our proposal to substantially increase generation by 28 megawatts, representing 40% of the country's installed capacity. Dr. Abrao Lopes, General Director of Energy for Cape Verde, worked closely with Infraco. Infraco and the government share the objective to maximize use of an abundant natural resource while reducing its cost of generation, attracting direct foreign investment and fighting climate change. The Ministry of Finance has also been very supportive of the project. Dr. Sandro Brito explains. This project will implement 4 wind farms in the 4 islands where most of the population live. 10 megawatts in the island of Santiago, where much of the country's industrial and administrative base is located. 6 megawatts will be installed in São Vicente, which is the island with the second largest population. 8 megawatts in the island of Sal and 4 megawatts in Boa Vista Island, 2 of the islands experiencing the highest increase in tourism levels in the country. The wind farms will be developed, owned and managed by the company Cabeolica, a public-private partnership initially comprising Infraco, the government of Cape Verde through the Ministry of Economy, Growth and Competitiveness, and Electra, the local public utility. Infraco provided the funding for the initial development of the project and will attract other foreign investors into the project. The Cabeolica project plays an important role in the fight against poverty and will maximize the use of the abundant and constant wind resources to bring reliable, environmentally friendly and clean, locally produced energy to the people. The production of energy by the wind farms will reduce oil imports by roughly 20,000 tons per year. This equates to about 30% reduction on import costs, which can be redeployed by government to more pressing social and economic priorities. The reduction of fossil fuel dependence and consequent decrease of greenhouse gas emissions emitted into the atmosphere will enable the Cabeolica project to benefit from carbon credits under the UNFCCC's Clean Development Mechanism, or CDM. Infraco sponsored the creation of the country's designated national authority for approval of carbon credits, thereby positioning the country in the CDM market and enabling it to benefit from other clean project investments in the future. The Cabeolica project will reduce the equivalent of carbon dioxide emissions by roughly 95,000 tons per year. A total of approximately 700,000 tons of greenhouse gases will be prevented from entering the atmosphere through the project's lifetime. Infraco has also sought to promote environmental awareness in the country through a number of initiatives, including the Cape Verde Environmental Fair that took place recently in the island of São Vicente. The fair attracted a broad array of interest locally and internationally and reinforced the drive by government to support new technologies that promote the sustainable use of the country's resources.
E também com a Infraco, o processo de criação da Autoridade Nacional Designada permitiu Cabo Verde fazer a inscrição do seu primeiro projeto no mecanismo de desenvolvimento limpo e assim colocar-nos no mercado de crédito de carbono, o que trará mais projetos chamados projetos limpos para Cabo Verde. Isso é o maior benefício.
Infraco has also provided technical support to the Renewable Energy Nucleus of Investigation, NER, to support renewable energy development in Cape Verde. NER is a non-governmental organization which works in close collaboration with the University of Cape Verde in research and development of practical and economically feasible renewable energy solutions.
Fazermos uma parceria no sentido de eles também nos apoiarem na remodelação dos equipamentos e na aquisição de alguns equipamentos, de forma a podermos dar início de uma forma mais consistente às nossas pesquisas e também, de acordo com os interesses também da Infraco, também de podermos levar a cabo alguns projetos também interessantes na área das energias renováveis.
The engineers and students at NER have recently built a 1 kilowatt wind turbine, which has the purpose of providing electricity to the department. The Cabeolica wind farm will cost €60 million and starts construction during the course of 2010. It will be complete within 18 months. Once the project has been implemented, it will contribute roughly 25% of the Cape Verdean energy consumption. This amount of renewable energy penetration will aid the country in meeting its important international obligations, as well as the government targets for renewable energy penetration established for the year 2011. This will make Cape Verde the leading user of renewable energy per capita in Africa, a resounding achievement.